three things I would focus on if I were to start wholesaling real estate over in 2025 with everything that I know now. These would be the three things. Full disclaimer before I get into that, I'm not a guru. I haven't been doing this big time. I'm still learning. I'm still looking to leverage my W-2 and scale my wholesale business. But with the things that I have learned, closing 3 JV deals, more in the pipeline, and I'm still learning each and every day. These would be the three things that I would focus on if I were to start over. Number one would be focusing on, hard work. How you do anything is how you do everything. Don't get caught up on, this is going to be a quick play. This is going to be a quick come up. No, it's not like that. You have to work hard. You have to be consistent, and you got to work on your craft each and every day, just like anything else or whatever it may be, whether it's, your business, wanting to be better in your W-2 or moving up, whatever it may be, you have to work hard. I thought that I can kind of just work at this here and there, but those here and there was getting me here and nothing results. So when I was able to really just sit down, focus on what I need to work on, I was able to keep showing up, keep putting my reps in, and after time, things start, turning around for me. I would say definitely you got to work hard. You got to understand that this is not a get rich quick scheme. Don't get caught up on, what you see online, those big checks, those big wires. Of course, you're going to get those, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of things that play into that, especially if you're working a job, a full-time job, you have limited time. You got to be aware of how you're leveraging things, leveraging your time, leveraging relationships. But all in all, you do have to work hard. You get in what you put out, right? You can't be half-stepping things and thinking that you're just going to come up. So that would be most important. Number one is working hard. Number two would be, I would say, the number one marketing strategy that I see across all platforms through all people that have been doing this big time, that are doing this big time, is, cold calling or being on the phone. So that's number two, being on the phones. Don't hesitate to being on the phones. When I first started, I was scared about hopping on the phone. You got to get over your fears. If you really want to make some money, you really want to make a change, you want to work on your craft, you have to, pick up the phone. You're going to fumble your words, just make some low offers, and you learn as you go. And once you start getting on the phone and you start getting those reps in, you start getting better. There's only a few ways that a phone call can actually go. They're going to cuss you out. Hey, you call me at a bad time. No, I don't want to sell. Or they're actually going to want to sell. And then, there's only a few things, rebuttals that, or objections. There's only a few objections that, the seller on the other side is going to throw at you. After you get your reps in, you're understanding like, okay, I've heard this before. I've said this before. Let me try it this way. I already know how to take this phone call and steer it back in my direction. And number three, I would say, would be make offers. You have to make offers. A lot of people, make some cold calls. They have someone that wants to sell. They say, I'll call you back. And they get caught up on other things, whether it's, numbers and all that stuff. Man, just make offers. If you don't know where your number is supposed to be, you always go low. I've learned that throughout my days of, not calling people back or losing leads because I said I was going to call them back and I never called them back. And when I did call them back, they already signed the contracts with someone else. And that's because I didn't make any offers. I was just, ringing around the rosy, talking, excited because I was talking to someone. But all in all, I didn't get to the bread and butter, which was making an offer and working on those negotiation skills. So I would say you have to make offers. And the fourth thing that I would, I know that I said three things I would focus on, but number four, solo, whatever you want to call it, I would say, build relationships with people in your markets. I'm doing this virtual and I'm also in another community and I build relationships. However you find these people, whether it's Facebook, different communities, possibly in Discord, or however you find other wholesalers, find a solid connection, build a solid connection, genuine relationship with somebody, and then just show up and do the work and get feedback. This is how I've been able to close a few deals just off of relationships and other people. So I would say, man, don't get scared to get out there, be yourself, and you're going to connect with someone that is just like you, or someone you strive to be like, that can help you along the way and help you learn, because we all sometimes have pride and we feel like we could do everything by ourselves, but that's not true. You're not going to be able to get as far as you really want to be just by yourself, especially like myself. I always talk to God and he's always been helping me and lead me in the right directions and who to talk to, who to be with. And luckily for me, I've been able to come up with some solid folks. So I'm really appreciative for that. So I would say, work hard, get on the phones, and make offers. I feel like if you focus on these things, or at least, obviously there's a whole bunch of other things, but if you're just getting started, focus on, you have to have hard work ethic. You got to get on the phones, and that's going to help you in other aspects in the business. And then also you got to start making offers. You make a few offers a day, someone's going to accept it. Someone's out there that needs your help, that you're a solution for them. But if you quit, if you just make a few phone calls and you quit because you got cussed out and someone was having a bad day and you're having a good day, and then now you're having a bad day because you're thinking too much. But if you just made a few more phone calls, you was going to get that one person that really needed your help, that wanted to sell their house, that everyone's been treating them like mess. But you're different and you're kind, and you're listening to people, and you're understanding that someone out there needs your help, and you didn't make the phone call because you were scared or because someone cussed you out. You missed that opportunity. So just stay on the phones. We're not talking about budgets, we're not talking about softwares, we're not talking about certain lists, whatever. Obviously, find people to call and make offers. So with all that, focus on that, and I'm sure you're gonna. And also, like I said, the last fourth one by itself solo is building relationships with people in your markets, or successful wholesalers. Learn from them, that can help you understand the process, where you don't have to know everything from A to Z. Just do your part and bring the lead to the table. Like, hey, I did this much, I got this much information, they said they would take this much, where do you think we need to be? Or can you take this lead, can I hand it off to you? And if we get a deal closed, we'll talk about that. So focus on that, and you're going to get a few deals, and you're going to get more deals, and after that, man, you're going to be running it up. So I know you can do it. Don't quit. I know you've been wanting to start that wholesale business. I know you've been wanting to get on the phone. So this is your cue to go ahead and start.